How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Excuses on VTWProductions.com and YouTube.com with your favorite show host, Zara Still.
Well, that happened. Fenurian.
And Volacel. And it sounds like Ari is rapidly running down the last part of his battery.
Yes.
I'm somewhere between I'm just done with everybody and I'm going to kill everybody.
So things are still happening over there.
Yeah, that's still a thing. But if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can still do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com or following us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw. Or you can join us in our Discord server, and you can get there by following the link provided at the in the show description underneath the show archive on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. I jumped step one too far ahead. Anyway, on the stream today, I'm going to go right back to the very beginning and play some Trails in the Sky, which is probably going to go very poorly because I couldn't be bothered configuring a controller beforehand.
Yeah, the keyboard controls in the Trails games,
A bit
they
janky.
range from barely workable to not very good.
Yeah. So this game was originally made... Good grief. It got it on Steam in 2014. It would have been made... I think you're right, actually, about 2003 originally.
Somewhere between 2003 and 2008 in that era for the PSP.
Yeah. So as you can say, it looks still nice, but it has not aged particularly well. Alright.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and keep track of whatever the hell Estelle is doing during the show.
That will be running around a sewer, trying to fail her bracer exam, and getting mad at Cassius for getting her a boy for her birthday.
I see.
She's a bit of a hard case, as Estelle.
This is young Estelle. She got some growing up to do.
She doesn't really.
No.
Oh. She becomes a slightly more mature ray of high energy sunshine, and that's about it. And that's pretty questionable how more mature she gets.
Yeah, I mean, high energy sunshine, sure, but it's just as likely to set everything on fire.
With a big stick.
Why is my present a boy? There we go. So, yeah, I think that's basically just Estelle in a nutshell right there. All right. As for my week, it's been a fairly quiet week. I guess I kept along with my Digimon kick at the moment. I just felt like going and digging back into a lot of stuff. So I've gone through most of the movies, the Try movies.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for the most part, are pretty good. Though, when you're watching them as episodes, the episodes just tend to stop at a crucial point, and that's the end of the episode, because of the way they've broken it up. And there's a couple where they spend more time doing the pre-canned evolution sequences than they do actually advancing the plot.
Well,
That's true blue Digimon right there.
I was about to say.
That's Digimon.
Agumon Digivolve 2? Okay, hang on, we gotta wait 30 minutes. Greymon!
And you could tell when they didn't have much actual new animation prepared because they would always use the slowed down long versions of each one.
Yes.
But when they had like the whole Myotismon fight, like, oh, we gotta tell the story really fast. They had 4 Digimon Digivolve in high speed all at once. Greymon, Gabumon, oh, Commentary-mon, Digivolve 2, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
really
they end up
fast.
just yelling over each other.
And it was really janky, not re-recorded talking faster, but just they sped the audio up.
Yes. The later movies actually have that when, you know, the proverbial actually hits the fan and, you know, here comes the big apocalyptic Digimon of the day. So they start digivolving maybe 4 or 5 at a time. Although it does get notable, like in a couple of the scenes where you've got 5 of them evolving, and then stepping up to the next stage, there's suddenly 6 because Garamon happens.
Yeah.
So they have to rearrange the frames every time, and it kind of gets a bit off-putting. And you suddenly have one more character yelling over all the others, so that's fun. But aside from all that nonsense, it's still been a very enjoyable time just going through and watching all these oldish movies. I also dusted off Digimon World New Order again. I didn't get all that far in it last time because that game is impenetrable. It kind of just dumps you in, gives you a very brief rundown of how combat works, and says, okay, that's your lot, off you go. Doesn't explain how the stats work, it doesn't explain how Digivolution works, basically how the core of the plot works. So that was fun, but jumping back into it a second time, now that I've actually learned it, I was able to get basically up to where I was in a tenth of the time. Then I discovered that this game actually has a character who refers to his friend as Blackosaurus. So that's a thing as well.
What?
Yes. When you find Black Agumon and Black Gomamon and... Oh, sorry, Black Gabumon. Yeah. They're a weird...
Digimon cancelled.
Pretty much. They're a weird little mix, those two. They just kind of pop up out of nowhere. And I think they're supposed to be a gateway boss because even though they're, base forms, they will still kick you up and down the field. So that was good fun. But, yeah, I'm just kind of chipping away. And there's not a whole lot really to say on it. If you played any of the previous Digimon World games, except I think 3, I can't remember, there's so many of them, then you already know what to expect. It kind of runs like an MMO meets Tamagotchis.
Meets a nightmare if it's the first one.
Oh yeah, the first one both descends into nightmare fuel in terms of the story, and you're going to run into a bug sooner or later which can just bring your game progression to a screeching halt.
It's also really, really freaking hard.
Yeah, it is really, really hard. But I actually did go back and... Because I reached a point in that game way back in the day where you just could not proceed. And the English translation is bugged. So you hit that point and that's your lot. That's where the story stops.
We'll just stop.
Unless you did everything in a very specific manner, you could get through it. But it was just a bug that would stop the story. So that was great. Beyond that, haven't done too much more in the way of gaming or anime, just keeping up with the usual shonen nonsense animes. Yeah, I haven't even had any good books lately, so it's been a very dull week. Mostly I'm just enjoying the actual novelty of having time again, so it's been getting projects around home done.
So your new employee hasn't shown any signs of abandoning ship yet?
No, if he hasn't run away in the light of Drunk Cowboy Palooza, he'll be perfectly fine, I think. So, yeah, I think I might just cut it short and leave my week there unless I can think of something else during the show.
Think of something else. This giant cube is going to attack us.
What are you... Oh, you're playing Genshin Impact, are you?
I have the wrong character selected, so I'm doing no damage.
So, yes. Yeah, I've just stopped Genshin Impact. It's not because it's a bad game, it's because it's
run by bad people.
Run by bad people for a bad organization, and it's so mercenary.
China.
Meanwhile, there's okay, this actually, the cutscenes in Trials of the Sky still look great.
Yeah, for what they had, they did absolutely amazing.
Yeah, like the characters themselves aren't animated all that much, but they do still look really nice.
Despite having the type of animation and Gucci-ness that it does, I think Trails in the Sky second chapter honestly has one of the best fight scenes in a video game for a full cutscene fight scene. And it's just in-game models doing in-game model stuff.
Nice. Yeah, thankfully the later games do actually have models rather than sprites. How many characters are actually in this game? Because it seems to be showing an awful lot of them.
It's a Trails game, so the entire universe is a character in that game.
So
There's
many.
pretty much nobody who's not going to join your party at some point.
Many
Yeah.
people.
If they do not join now, they will join later.
I see.
Oh crap! I didn't mean to use. Oh well. I'm not like I'm going to use my resin in my world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So
system.
we killed the big cube.
Yay. Sure thing.
So I've been still living in Gacha world for the most part. I did spend some time when I was just I didn't have the brain left to even play Genshin Impact. So I played Extella Link for a while just for the lulls, but mostly I've been playing gacha games again, obviously. So this the new 1.1 has come out with a bunch of attendant bullcrap and nothing of real note other than the new part of the story, which doesn't matter because I'm not anywhere near completing even the story that was put in the game at launch, so it's not of any great benefit to me. However, there's a new banner and I'm like, you know what, I use Ningguang for pretty much everything, so I'll try and get her up a constellation level. So I dumped all of my I don't know what they're called. I think of them as Saint Quartz because everything
The
is Saint
Primo
Quartz.
gems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
funny
that's the one.
money, space bucks.
So I dumped all of those into that banner. I got one copy of Ningguang and I got a bunch of other crap, and I also got the You're Going to Jail new character.
Because there's always one.
So, yeah, at least. And then I had some I also had accumulated 10 of the the general banner, non-rate up banner, Saint Quartz, whatever they are. So I rolled on that and I got Mona from that. Which ultimately is not it's ultimately kind of frustrating, because what this means essentially is that apart from like 2, I have all of the 4-star characters, I think, and I've got not counting the main character, I've got 2 5-star characters, but it doesn't really matter since
Resin.
like I can't actually
Yeah.
raise any of them, like they're all stuck. It doesn't matter whether I want to try out playing new play styles or new characters or new waifus or whatever motivation one might choose, because to actually level them up is too costly. It's too resource intensive, too time intensive. Even if I was playing this game hardcore all the time as my main game, it would still be too costly. It would still not be worth the effort. So I feel like they've really done themselves a disservice here, because you're not going to actually continue baiting people into rolling on the gacha long term if they know that even if they get it, they're not going to be able to progress that character because there's just not enough resources. They're going to end up trimming back their player base down to only Leviathans, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because only those people are going to continue dumping enough money in to actually use the new characters that come out.
Yeah, I've got Barbara, Diluc, Protag, Fischl, and that's it for characters that I actually are keeping up to date.
And since I only play a tiny bit of the time, for me that's basically just Ningguang and Noelle.
Yeah, Noelle's stopped at 70. Haven't even bothered to ascend her. With those basalt pillars I got, is that enough to ascend her? No, I need 12.
They're not very kind in that sense at all.
I need 20 fire ones for Diluc.
But yeah, it's just the game doesn't want you to play it, is the way it feels. Like you're getting cock blocked at so many different angles that you're not. While I enjoy playing it, I just sort of seem to oscillate wildly between having fun and being really annoyed at it.
Yeah.
Because when it's fun, it's really fun, and when it's annoying, it's really annoying.
Speaking of, you need to kill the water boss.
Oh, I don't have enough reason.
Okay.
Hooray for gateways.
I'll just go kill your water boss.
Pointless
You can kill
pointless
the water boss
barriers.
if you kill the
Because
water
I don't want to kill the water boss in my world, because water boss right now is overtuned.
And that would take too much resin.
Also, like, since my main is Ningguang, apparently Ningguang basically can't fight the water boss. Period. Because her projectiles will hit whatever they want to hit, not what you want them to hit.
Oh, that's helpful.
In the story, it's that homing. That homing is not cooperative at all, even a little bit. But yeah, it's Yeah, so I really want to enjoy it, and it's really trying to make sure I don't enjoy it, and I don't know why. Like what this maybe it's just that the Leviathans make up such a proportion, like 99% of the money that they make, sufficiently that they just don't care
It might
that
be that.
the basic principle of their game undermines itself. Or maybe it's just that I think what I've seen is that a lot of people seem to be forgetting that this game has been out for like 6 weeks, and in the lifespan of a gacha game, that's not very much. So it's possible that they'll just reverse course. That could 100% happen. They could decide this. We've made this unsustainable for ourselves. Therefore, now we need to dial it back and think of ways to actually make people want to spend money on this.
Yeah,
But,
because okay, the Leviathans are a big earner, but you're still going to want the regular whales as well as the casual spenders.
Well,
You
you're
don't
going
wanna
to
chase
want word of
everyone
mouth. You're going to want word of mouth to keep your game spreading and keep new players coming in. But you hit that level 40 wall, and it's just, I hope you like resin farming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're literally just going to be spending weeks, and it's not even fun farming most of the time, because when you're like, oh, well, over time you could accrue enough of the materials you need if you just spend the resin smartly. No, that is not at all what can happen. What you're going to be doing...
You don't see meaningful progress at any point.
And you're going to be spending it on, like, Mora and EXP books.
Yay!
I'm not even kidding. There were 2 weeks of time, at least, that I have only gotten Mora and EXP books. That's where all my resin went.
So, boring little trinkets that only increase in number.
Not even that.
No, they're consumables.
Yeah.
That's like your basic currency. You're spending all your time farming your basic currency. Like everything about this is like it's just designed to spool out the sheer amount of time required to accomplish anything, and in absurd fashion. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's very frustrating. Like for instance, if you look at the problem of say leveling out artifacts, and leveling out artifacts can only be accomplished by means of putting more artifacts in. That's the only thing you can do.
So I hope you like killing world bosses or going to the artifact domains and spamming them.
You're not exactly making me regret walking away.
The argument that people make in its defense is that, by the time you're trying to farm up best in slot artifacts, you'll have so many suboptimal ones rotting in your inventory that you won't even need to farm for artifacts to level up.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. That does sound like a blatant lie.
Well, you say that it sounds like a blatant lie, but you probably haven't been playing as optimally as these lunatics have.
True.
What they consider to be an optimal artifact is not one that comes with the optimal stats. It's one that acquires all of the optimal random stats as you level it up.
Yeah, so
the first time you get the wrong stat rolled on it as you level it up, they turn it into fodder.
Yeah, they will level these things up to level 8, and then see if they rolled all the appropriate stats. And if it does not have a perfect roll, they'll feed it to something else. Yeah, no.
That sounds like madness.
I'm here to tell you, there ain't enough free time in the world for anybody that has anything resembling a job to be able to pull that kind of insanity.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I have this suspicion, and I have no way of confirming it, that this world actually contains a lot of jobs where people sit in a cubicle and pretend to work.
Oh yeah, it's called government service.
I can't imagine doing it because I'd go out of my mind, but it seems to be a thing.
Yeah.
If I don't, before Wooflu made everything awful, if I was at my desk, dang it, I'm climbing the wall by accident again. If I'm at my desk with nothing to do, I go put my happy ass in my little car, and I drive to a nearby work site that I know is looking for people to sold crap. Like, I can't stand sitting in a cubicle and doing nothing because I would sit there and play video games all the time.
I've been there and done that, and I can tell you it is the absolute worst.
Not a fan of cube life.
It did a number on my mental health, let's just say. It was bad.
I've never worked in a cubicle. Don't really have any strong intention of doing so. I don't even know how it works. Like, what are you supposed to even do?
You sit there and you read emails and you crunch numbers and you answer questions.
Or you enter data. Just off a piece of paper, put it in. Next piece of paper. Repeat.
Well,
Oh,
was it
data
on
entry.
paper to begin with?
Because, well, if you're at my company, it's because it was owned by a bunch of people who were dinosaurs.
Yes. It's usually because someone couldn't be bothered to just email the data over or something like that.
And they stick it in your inbox bin on your desk?
Yes. So you
Oh,
have
that's
to deal with it, and they don't.
Ain't that the best? When you walk into your office and there's a pile of paper in your inbox?
Yeah. Did that.
I'm gonna go on a killing spree before my life's over.
Please don't.
Yeah, the show doesn't work very well with two people.
It really doesn't.
So as long as we're doing it, you need to not kill anybody.
Yeah, please avoid that. What's next? Or is that just pretty much been it? Just Genshin Impact.
So, an FGO is salt season because all of the people who are rolling for Irish are now failing to get Irish because it is Christmas rerun season.
Oh, I should blow my quartz on that.
The gacha feeds on your salt.
Because Irish is one of the most beloved of all the waifu characters in that game, and there are lots and lots and lots of people who want to roll for her. So normally the situation would be that, oh well, there are some people rolling for this new character because some people like this new character. Irish has a lot of fans, so every FGO community is just packed to the gills with people grieving for their inability to get what they want on the gacha at the moment. So Christmas 2019 is a strange beast. It's basically the entire event is just a way of getting people to roll for Irish on the gacha. Because it's all Irish's sob story, basically. And it's very strange. Like most of the holiday events, it is very strange. The featured character this time being Eltera the Santa, riding on a large sheep.
May.
And attacking people with her War God sword, which is now some type of multicolored candy cane and stuff.
I see.
Lots of it is about as sensible as you would expect from most of these seasonal events. And if you play with sound on, you'll have May stuck in your head because since she is the event character, and I've got her from last time, and as the event character, she does like plus 100% damage. So she's as good as having a type advantage when you don't have a type advantage. And since she's she's got 5 ranks of Ennoble Phantasm since she's an event character, you end up in a position where she's pretty much the ideal point man for every team because, well, you want the bonus resources that you get from having her in the team because all the Christmas themed characters and all the characters that play a role in the story, they give you bonus resources for the item shop. So ultimately you end up finishing every farming stage with May, and eventually the sound of Altera's sheep will be stuck in your head.
I'm reminded of the Watame rap.
Yeah.
May.
How about no?
How about yes?
No.
Live show chat paste.
But yeah, it's a strange event, and it's certainly not one of my favorites. Last time it was the major lottery event, so you get stuck doing a ton of it regardless. But I don't need to worry about that this time since it's a rerun, so it's a limited lotto of 10. I'm going to probably minimize my participation in this event to the greatest extent possible because I only really care about getting the gold foos. Although, I mean, I've got another Kiyohime to fill out now because I finished Zerka Kiyohime, getting her gold furs all maxed out. So it's now time for what I dropped out of that multiplayer group and it's randomized my selection of party. Why? Who would do this? Yeah, so I've now got to get gold furs for Lancer Kiyohime, but other than that, there's not really anything I want from this event, and the event is just strange. And when the actual Christmas event for this year comes around, that will also be a lotto event, except it'll be an uncapped one. So I need to save my energy for that because
You don't need to chain farm it.
You
don't
do
need-
lottery. You have to.
No, you don't.
You
can put the
only
video
say no
game down.
because you already maxed out all your characters. That's not the case.
I actually have quite a few that I need to level up, but I'm still not doing it.
But yeah, it's so that's coming, and it's what I'm kind of a bit dubious about because it's a lottery event, and lottery events will destroy you if you try too hard. I only did a modest effort at the last one. I opened 80 odd lottery boxes, and I have already burned through all of the materials and all of the EXP and all of the QP that I got out of that. So yeah, I guess it's time to try again. Time to start over again. Although I don't have anything urgently that I want to level up this time, so I'll mainly be focusing on fixing my bones shortage problem, because there are bones from this coming lotto, and preparing for hopefully pulling Benny Enma on the New Year's gacha, which is what I've been hoarding quartz for. I've got about 600 quartz now that I've hoarded.
Jeez.
For Benny Enma, because I don't have any 5-star sabers after all this time playing this game.
You still don't. Good grief.
Nope, not even one. Not a one. And Benny Enma is adorable. So she's also actually quite good because she's got bonus versus evil and chaotic or something like that. But yeah. So mostly it was gacha for me. Anime hasn't really gone anywhere. Most of the stuff that I'm watching is barely passable and is more or less running in a predictable groove. For instance, like this season's the shonen bullcrap traditionalist show it's pretty much, I would say, it's running in its groove in the way that Black Clover did. So it's called Jujutsu Kaisen, and it is as similar to a traditional shonen as any traditional shonen.
Crunchyroll tries to jam it down my neck every time I open the app.
Well, that's because they're hoping it'll be the next big thing, but the simple fact is that it doesn't have anything going for it. Much like Black Clover, Black Clover's never really it's never really turned into a breakout hit because it doesn't have anything going for it. It's just the same as all the others.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have a gimmick.
Its gimmick
Like,
is
Naruto.
It is one metric unit of shonen is its gimmick.
Yeah, so Jujutsu Kaisen is about a dude who is the container for a super powerful demon, and need I continue?
Do I need to go get the checklist? Or do I just
No.
open the shonen part of TV tropes and just tick everything?
Yeah, just tick everything.
Right.
I think that the only real difference, I suppose, and it's not a significant one to even really call a difference, and I think it actually works out as a negative, is that it basically spends most of its time talking up how ridiculously OP their teacher is. So we're in like Naruto on the Country of Wave arc, right? The one where they go to the place which is trying to build the bridge and they fight Zabuza and that. Do you remember that?
Vaguely?
It's the first C rank mission that they were allowed to leave the village for.
Yeah.
And it all goes perfect.
This is so long ago you're talking.
Yeah, because this is like the first arc after the introduction in Naruto.
Yeah.
But this basically what ends up happening in there is that they establish that the most powerful the most powerful ninjas in the village have feet of clay when it comes to their position in broader ninja society, in that everybody else is just as powerful as they are. So even though they're leagues ahead of the protagonist characters, still, like, Zabuza is just this random bandit that they run across effectively, and he's able to fight Kakashi to a standstill the first time they meet, and apparently not with a great deal of effort. So they establish at least that, you know, even the powerful ninja, they're not gods, although they'll proceed to shit all over that later.
Yes.
But in Jujutsu Kaisen, they spend an awful lot of time talking up the teacher dude, and the first time that he is given the opportunity to directly fight one of the special rank super enemy curse demon dudes, he just walks all over him without breaking a sweat, to the point that he actually has time to leave the battle, go get the main character, drag him back to watch so that he can learn a few lessons, and then proceed to trample all over his opponent.
Okay, I gotta admit, that's kind of takes a bit of style.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. The guy comes off seeming like he's a self-insert for the writer almost, because he's
Yeah.
a little bit too cool.
Yeah.
Like, he wears a blindfold all the time,
Oh, of course
but
he
he's
does.
like, under it, of course, he's a super Bishonen or whatever.
Because of course he is.
And he's like got all the most powerful moves. He's recognized as like the most powerful fighter in their society, and so on and so forth.
Check,
There's
and
nothing.
check.
He's basically the linchpin of the continued domination of humanity in the world, because he's too powerful for anybody to take on, and ultimately he ends up saying a lot of really cringy things, which smell like author self-insert. Like, he talks out about how, oh well, I mean, if I wanted to really get rid of the corruption in the Jujutsu Sorcerer Society, I could easily just kill all of the people involved, but I'm sure they would just be replaced by people as corrupt as the ones that I killed. Like, he's basically a superhuman and the focus of everything, unlike the main character, who seems to sort of end up on the shelf a lot of the time.
Ugh.
And he also has an attendant, Sasuke and Sakura, in that the female character has definitely got some powers, but she seems to do nothing but lose all the time.
So, Sakura.
And he's got, you know, the tall, dark, and brooding, innately talented compatriot who was inducted into the way of doing things a long time ago, knows more about everything than the protagonist, and is just generally, you know, cool and powerful. I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that everybody will forget about this because it has nothing to offer.
Yeah, because that was just literally copy-paste Sasuke and Sakura.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still watching it, but it's for lack of anything else to do.
Go back and watch something you enjoyed, or pick something incredibly weird or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to have to, because it's just... Why do they keep making these? Like, I can understand that there is a market for shonen and stuff, but you could at least come up with a new idea once in a while.
I mean, if you
Just
want
once or
shonen,
twice.
there's already shonen that are out on the market. Like, you can always go back to Dragon Ball or One Piece if you really want, or you got Black Clover or Hero Aka, or I don't know, take your pick. At least each of them have something worth watching in them.
Like, anytime somebody pitches a new shonen to me, I have to go, but is it worth it to watch this new shonen and get reinvested in the exact same storyline? Or I could just literally put Yu Yu Hakusho in the Blu-ray player again.
Or you could do that.
But I don't like Yu Yu Hakusho, and it has the worst ending apart from Bleach.
This is true. Oh, whoops.
We just pretend Three Kings doesn't exist. The fourth DVD doesn't exist.
But that's something that you can't help but note, is that apart from Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, none of those giants that have come out since have been able to last. Like people just don't keep watching them.
Well,
After
Hiroaka has.
Hero Arc I consider to be a bit of a special case because it's got way more budget behind it,
Yeah.
like monumentally more budget behind it than any other shonen gets.
It tends
Not
to...
quite the what was it? The one about the kid with the little sister who turned into an Oni or whatever.
Oh,
Oh.
Demon Slayer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Upo table one.
It's
Yeah.
not that level of budget, but it does have a way higher budget than is normal for a shonen.
Yeah, Hero Arc at least has the gimmick where it kind of leans on the feels a bit more than the other shonen.
Well, yeah, I think that Hero Arca it earned its position as sort of like the big name for the current sort of generation of shonen fans, simply because it was the only one that wasn't doing everything exactly the same.
Yeah, like Black Clover, it's exactly shonen, but it just doesn't give a shit. It kind of revels in being generic shonen.
Yeah, they solved their problem by turning the dials up to 11
Yes.
on everything all the time. Every fight is a ridiculous set piece.
They turned everything up to match Asta's volume.
I think that only has a limited shelf life and will eventually outwear its welcome, especially considering they're just settling into the traditional tournament training arc, tournament arc, final boss arc, training arc, tournament arc, final boss arc. Like they just announced a freaking tournament.
Yeah, I think the first episode went live this week of the tournament arc.
They've settled into the traditional way of doing things, to be sure.
Yeah, I think Black Clover may have peaked already with the elf arc anyway.
Yeah. I don't know where you go from there that raises the stakes any further, because that was like world-ending stakes there.
Yes.
It's you can't say, oh, and the world will end for reals this time, the next time round.
Universe-ending stakes.
Because
Universe.
by the time when the elf thing happened, like that was on the sort of level of calamity of like the final Shinobi World War in Naruto.
Yes.
And you simply can't outgun that.
Mm.
And I think that, you know, other than the, you know, myriad other problems, Bleach had the same sort of terminal problem in that forgiving it its flaws, Aizen had been built up for so long that without a similar type of build-up, you couldn't bring in another enemy and have them be effective. It wasn't really a practical prospect. So Yuhabak, despite being there being, you know, hints here and there, just there was no gravity to that character, because it was all retroactively you were being informed about how important and powerful he was after the fact. There was no situation where, like, in what was quite effective for shonen anime cinematography, you have that situation in Soul Society where Ichigo's, you know, he's at the peak of his power pretty much, having learned Bankai and so forth, and then his theme song starts to play and he goes to attack Aizen, and Aizen stops him with a finger and the theme song just sort of cuts out.
Yeah.
Like that demonstration of power never exists for Yuhabak, except immediately before they're engaging all of his people in combat. So there's no build up there. It's just they try to tack another arc onto the end and it doesn't have the gravity because the previous arc was too strong. And this is a problem with lots and lots of shonen, and especially when that story is being forcibly continued.
Yep.
Like Yu Yu Hakusho's last arc is incredibly bad on its own merits, but it looks incredibly worse considering the story was already over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Bleach as well.
Chapter Black had an epilogue, folks. He wanted to end it. He was ready to walk away. And they said, nope, give us another one. And so he gave him one. He gave him one, all right.
I got to give at least credit to Oda with One Piece. He's already, right from the get-go, he defined a finish point for the series. Like, they find One Piece, that's it.
He does have a plan to get there as well. It's more of a question of, you know, how long will it take him to do so?
Probably another 5 years.
Could be.
Because last I looked, the shape of the end is kind of on the horizon.
Yeah, I haven't been following it. I sort of I couldn't really stick with it after the time skip.
Yeah.
I feel like time skips are quite dangerous to a story because inevitably what you come back to is not the thing that you left after a time skip, and that's the point. I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
but like the time skip didn't bother me in Fairy Tale because the time was stopped for all of the main characters. They weren't part of the time skip.
I think One Piece's time skip is actually a bit unique because for 2 arcs before that, it was not the usual thing. This was Luffy going on a downhill spiral of despair and death. The time skip in One Piece is more a restoration to the old way of things, where the crew comes back and Luffy's suddenly happy again.
Yeah, I couldn't stomach it though because it was taking too damn long.
That's the big thing.
Like the crew doesn't come back together. The crew eventually drifts together over an excruciatingly long period of time.
About 3 episodes.
No, because they end up split up again immediately.
Oh yeah, because
like,
Fishman Island happens.
They don't ever stay and operate as a crew. Like it's not a pirate crew story anymore the way it was.
Yeah.
The story never actually restores itself to where it is. Most of the time, the crew are so fractured apart from each other and so concerned with other things entirely. Like when I stopped listening, stopped watching it. No, not watching because I'd stopped watching a long time ago. When I stopped following the manga, I don't think Zoro had appeared for like 100 chapters or something.
Yeah.
They were dicking about with one of the 4 emperors or whatever the heck they were called.
Oh, Whole Cake Island, where everything's kind of saccharine and food.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Zoro's just not part of the story anymore. And I wonder
half
what
the crew is actually just gone from that arc.
Yeah. The thing is that Zoro is like a fan favorite.
Yes.
There are lots of people who don't care about Brook. There are not lots of people who don't care about Zoro.
Yeah, I don't mind
and
Brook.
Well, the thing is, he's a late addition, so
Very
people aren't as attached to him. But yeah, that you can just subtract a member of the cast from participation for a massively extended period of time seems like a poor directorial decision, so to speak. But that type of thing, because that's not the only incident, it's just the most egregious one, where they're just, it's like they're not part of the story anymore for extended periods of time, and that it's just, the adventure sort of dissipates because it feels like you're constantly just trying to drag all the elements of the story back together, and then they get interrupted again every time. I mean, One Piece has a lot of crimes, and I think that's one of them. I think that the thing that made me cringe the most, though, and I'm not sure that it's really fair to say that it made me cringe the most because it's not the only example of its type, but it was the one that got on my nerves the most, is there's a sequence in quite early on in the story, I think, where Luffy just sort of gets his head stuck between 2 buildings.
Yep.
For an extended period of time.
Yes.
Like episode after episode after episode after episode, and it's just Luffy stuck between 2 buildings and screaming.
Oh, what arc was that? It was one of the early ones, definitely.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember
Alabasta?
exactly. I think it was the one which had all the animal people in it.
Oh, okay. That's a fairly recent-ish.
No. This is the first time the people they're not naturally animal people. They are people that ate animal fruits.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
there's like a team of them that look retarded, and there's like a giraffe one or something. And
oh, that's oh crap. That's Robin's arc anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's before she's actually been arrested, I think. It's the arc before they have the final showdown with those guys at the prison.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it's there's just this massive chain of episodes where the only thing Luffy does is be stuck between 2 buildings. And it's just the most transparent ploy to give everybody else a chance for a bit of a scrap.
Yep. I really should probably pay attention to what I'm doing in this game. All I'm doing is wasn't paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay, you see Joshua's abilities that have plus delay on them?
Oh no, actually at this point I'm just going to go out of my way to make Sherazade yell at me.
So here's how you beat Trails in the anything. Do you see anything with impede on it? Do you see anything with plus delay on it? Those are the abilities you use and you win the game.
Yeah. No, this is tutorials, so I'm just making sure I'd yell at me. Anyway.
Yeah. What else am I watching? I don't think there's anything of really any note because it's all so bad. There's a few other things to try yet, but I just don't have the spirit for it mostly. It's just, ugh. I don't know. I'm going to wait for a better season. I think. It's just awful. Next week, I'm going to see the third Heaven's Feel movie. So,
Yay!
I hope that will at least be good. Nothing else has been good lately.
Just going to feed the ever sucking vacuum of despair that is this year.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like I keep playing Genshin Impact. I don't know why, because I know it's just going to make me annoyed again. It keeps happening.
I warned you about the Genshin, man. I told you.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's still fun. That's the problem. It's still fun until you remember all the things that aren't.
Yeah, until you're like, oh, this character's real cool. I'll roll for them and totally. Oh, wait, I can't actually use them for unless I spend a full 3 weeks grinding them up.
It's not even a matter of I can roll for them because, like I said, I've got nearly the entire cast. I don't have lots of multi-constellation characters like some people do. I've just got the first level of most of the characters. It's just that I can't use them because they're too weak and the world is too powerful. And at the rate that you typically progress, if you were to spread your interests out, you would end up in a situation where you had everybody at level 20, but you're at like world level 4 or something, and nothing would be doable. So,
yeah,
it's so frustrating.
You have to pick like a few favorites, and you just don't have time to level anybody else up because the world level will keep ticking up.
Yeah, it's deeply, deeply frustrating, and I hate that I like it. I hate that I like this game because I would rather just put it on the shelf and never think about it again. I didn't pay anything for it. I didn't put any money in.
I get on when people go, Ari, I need help killing the woof.
The woof.
Well, I don't want to fight the woof by myself. It takes forever.
Abo also is in the Ari, I need help killing the woof camp.
Well, it's just more efficient that way.
He's at world level 4 with characters that are not as well built as mine are too. So he needs to kill the wolf all the time.
The wolf. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much longer I'll play it because I think eventually my frustration will reach a head, and I'll be in a position where it's just not worth it for me. And it seems like something that's liable to happen, but I don't know. I really don't know. And a part of me just doesn't want to be playing it, but it's cool, and I'm a sucker for filling bars, obviously. But yeah, I just wish that I could progress characters. Is that so wrong?
No, you cannot progress characters. Give us money and play non-stop. You need unlimited free time. You need to pay us resin refunds.
They are really good at their psychological tricks, I have to say, and I do have a certain amount of pity for people who weren't already braced for this type of behavior, because even though I'm already resolved to not spend money on this, I still feel it occasionally scratch at the back of my head and like, no. It's because it's not that I am intellectually tempted. It's that the game is built in a way to push those buttons without your consent.
Yeah. Thankfully, there's one word that stops me dead in my tracks. China. That's all I have to tell myself, and I put the wallet away.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the way it be. But yeah, it's deeply frustrating. But yeah, I need them to bring out another Fate game so I can play that instead. Because that's just the way I operate.
All right.
But yeah, I'll stop talking there.
All right. We're not quite at an hour yet.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of news though, so.
I guess I can. Volsei was done with this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have anything to do, nothing much to do this week other than work and work and work.
All right. Well, I guess we can start with my week since there ain't a whole lot to it that I can actually talk about. Since most of my week involved running around like a chicken with my head cut off, screaming at people.
Yeah, you seem to be doing a lot of that.
I hit a guy pretty dang hard too.
Also that.
Like, it's like if you want more, maybe. Well, there's nothing really to do a political show about this week because nothing happened.
Yeah, we're just sitting waiting for the courts to do their thing.
Yeah, but I have been wrapped up in the Georgia tomfoolery going on. And one coworker at work goes, "But what if it turns out the Democrats didn't cheat and I just clobbered him?" I'm generally pretty friendly with this guy too, and I probably irreparably damaged our relationship. But I'd snapped when I heard that.
But the thing is that that's never been the case. The Democrats have cheated in every election that they've ever participated in, whether or not they were successful. Like that's just it's a known reality. To suggest otherwise is like to suggest that the sky is green. It's it's nonsense.
What
I
if
don't know
the
why
sun
it made you
rose in
that
the west
mad.
today?
I don't know why it would make you that mad, since it just indicates that you're kind of stupid. But
Because I'm in the middle of this tomfoolery and on the ground running around in the middle of this, going everywhere I can to jabber to people about it. I was chain writing I spent the majority of this week, the later half of this week, just writing chain emails and chain calling my Secretary of State office and my governor's office. And the expletives increased and got more creative as I called and left messages on their voicemail.
I see.
Yeah, not safe for this show words were said.
Yeah, let's not go in too deep into that, shall we?
So yeah, most of my week was really consumed with that. Every bit of free time I've had has been stuck into not, running around with giant Team Gawain banners in PSO2 like I would like to, and having fun playing dress up with those. No. Can't do anything fun like that. Gotta go defend the integrity of the Union. It's really deeply frustrating. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
You've done nothing else but yell at people all week?
I've literally done nothing but yell at people in my free time all week and run around and try and get cucks off their butts.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
And to quit rolling over. I can't even. Ugh. And unfortunately, that's really all I did. I didn't play any new video games. Played a little bit of PSO2, a little bit of Genshin if people really need my help with something. Played a little bit of new PSO2 in the new story that's out. Not enough to really talk about anything. Didn't play any single player games. I poked at again for about half a day, and then got frustrated with a podcast on about the news, and decided I needed to get off my butt and go do something about it. So I didn't keep playing that.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't do anything except run around and scream at people for letting them get away with fraud.
It doesn't sound like you actually accomplished anything, though.
No. And that's what's frustrating, is people are too cucked. You can't uncuck these people.
Well, why are you wasting your time on them then?
Because I need to feel like I'm doing something, damn it.
Well, you should be setting up your political campaign to run for governor or senate or Congress then, instead of mucking out talking to people who don't have a brain.
That is a legitimate possibility in the future. But yeah, I don't have anything. That's all it was.
Okay.
You had an incredibly shitty week.
You had an angry, is what you had.
I had a very, very angry week. I probably damaged many relationships with people, and I just don't care.
I just do not care because of what these people are throwing away by rolling over and taking this.
All right.
You know that the odds are that the court is just going to give in and not do anything, right?
I'm going to. You will not see me anymore if that happens. Just by the way, show's over. If you two can't do it too, man, or you can't replace me, that's it. I'm not joking. I am
Is this-
100% serious.
This is you're going to be in jail at that point.
Oh no, I'll be dead.
I see.
I'm going to go down fighting, and you guys will not see me ever again.
Okay. All right. We should move on and probably take a break then, before you get way over angry.
Oh, this is me incredibly calm relative to the rest of the week.
This is a point.
So, yeah, we can listen to music, and we'll be right back.
Okay, we've brought the glowing levels down from radioactive to just glow in the dark.
Yes. And I'm actually figuring out how this game works because not paying attention to tutorials is usually a bad thing.
Yeah, and then wait till you get to ornaments.
Oh yeah, I've already done that. That was a bit confusing when I didn't read it.
Oh, yeah.
I just completely just smashed whatever orb crap I wanted wherever I wanted because they don't ever explain anything in first chapter about
Yeah.
how to do it properly. So you just use whatever wherever.
Joshua,
So, yeah.
you're bad at your job, Joshua. Just hit the
Joshua,
thing.
Joshua's OP. He has delay.
He does. Well, he will. I just told him to use his craft during the craft tutorial, and he failed miserably.
Oh, did he miss?
He missed.
Yeah, you got to get some hit gems in there somewhere.
Yeah. Alright,
Yeah,
backstab.
that's a fun part in later games. Is so many enemies inflict blinding cold steel that you need everybody to have 100% accuracy so they can't miss.
That's irritating.
Yeah, in Cold Steel 4 and 2 specifically, they seem to be addicted to the blind debuff.
Why would you do this?
It's not that hard. There are plenty of accessories with just a flat 100% accuracy on them.
Oh,
But
that's not
why?
bad then.
In addition to every other stat that you need.
But why? Like, why go to all of this effort? What is the point?
I don't know.
It seems to be just wonky design decisions through these games like that for no apparent reason.
You will notice a pattern. They break the ATB system in their initial release, and they don't nerf delay enough, and then they nerf delay, and then they fix the ATB system to rebalance it a little bit, but it's still exploitable, and then they'll break it again.
Right.
And then they'll add battle orders and completely break it.
Just to mess with everyone, I guess. I need to level up my CP. Bob. Yeah, this is an old game, but it's still pretty good. All right.
Yep.
I'd say we should look at some news, but there really isn't any this week.
Yeah, it was a bit of an uneventful week. There's a bunch of like financial news from EA and stuff, and rumors of more delays and that kind of type of thing. But there's nothing happened per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of announcements about stuff that's happening eventually.
I hear like Google's like literally giving Stadia away now.
But nobody wants Stadia.
Yeah.
That's why they're giving it away. It's the only way they get people to take it.
It should have been free in the first place, though. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Talk about the Google graveyard. Them people.
Oh, yeah.
The Stadia will be the shining example of Google graveyard for a while now.
After the Google Glass, it's finally been dethroned.
Well, they quietly made Google Glass go away and there was a good reason to do so. It was because people didn't want that product. Period.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, people were repulsed by that product.
Yes.
But as far as Stadia goes, it's not like there's no room in the market for what Stadia does. It's just that Stadia does everything in the worst possible manner.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't need to be this bad, but it is.
There's a couple of things we can touch on, I guess. Going off our kick of yelling at China.
Yay.
So this was the only thing of note that I really found in the news, and Ball had already posted it. Let's see. So, HoloLife's China is shutting down.
Or rather, all of them are graduating, as it were.
Which means they've been fired in HoloLive speak.
Well, that's idle speak, basically.
Yes.
It's like they're letting this idle go. Usually it's because they've gotten themselves involved in a scandal, or they want to get married, which will damage their image irreparably, or they've done something which is going to affect their branding, or they've gotten too old Usually, to the reasons for an idol to be graduated. In this case, it's because CCP, in my opinion. I think that they have had it up to here with dealing with the CCP's oversensitive, girlish bullshit.
Yeah, just the antis in general have gotten too much. The CCP has gotten too ridiculous and forcing them to kowtow. And, West Taiwan just doesn't like that normal Taiwan exists very much.
I do find the sheer level of brainwashing of the antis very alarming, though. Like, I saw some stories about people who had attempted to troll HoloLive chat, basically for trolling Coco's chat, for instance, and they lost social credit with the government, and therefore their family lost their jobs and stuff like that, all because they were trying to troll on the internet. And they don't see this as a problem with the government; they see this as HoloLive's fault.
Yeah, they were trying to disrupt Coco's streams, and the CCP just apparently walloped a bunch of people, or at least one dude that I saw.
Well, it's because in order to actually view YouTube from China, you need to use a proxy, and using a proxy is against the law.
And most proxies go through Taiwan. If that wasn't enough.
Well, they're not going to care about that because using a proxy is enough to make it illegal. But yeah, it's they are still 100% convinced that their government is in the right after their government does this type of thing to them.
Yeah.
Some very, very thorough indoctrination. These are normal people. It's just that they've been raised under a system that doesn't permit them to think.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with these type of people. That they are a total lost cause. Barely even human. Freaking Coco's name is censored in Genshin Impact chat, by the way.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah,
you can't say Coco's name.
It'll be the same for every other game made in China as well. That's just the way things roll. It would have been added to the updated list of censored words that are required to be censored in any game with chat made in China.
Yeah. Based Atlanta Dragon out there triggering the CCP.
I bet she voted for Biden.
Probably. Considering that she's not in the state but probably had a residency here at some point, she probably did. She probably doesn't know she voted for Biden, but she probably did.
Yeah, that sounds likely.
Well, your grandparents probably don't know they voted for Biden either.
Yeah, I sat there yelling at the grave for a while about them voting for Biden, and then I had to go to work.
Did you seriously do that?
No.
Good. I'd be worried about you if you did.
That one's a joke, although we're quickly approaching that level of insanity. My mental state is degrading quite rapidly. The more I have to live in this state and the shenanigans that are going on and just how nobody else can see it. This must be what it's like to be Alex Jones.
Yeah. They are putting chemicals in the water.
Okay, frogs.
Like, I'm not quite at Alex Jones level, but I think I'm starting to have some sympathy for him when he sees stuff happening that nobody else does. Or if they do, they just don't care.
He doesn't like them putting chemicals in the water.
But they were turning the frogs gay.
Right, so what else happened this week in gaming terms? I'm trying to think of anything, but it's not. I think that I heard something about Twitch getting pinged for not having any DMCA tools that were working properly.
They had to put out a big statement to all of their streamers saying, asking them to mute their game audio so they don't trigger copyright strikes because of licensed music.
Yeah.
It's a streaming service. Like, is everybody going to be Nintendo on streaming now? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
I would love to see a company just tell all these other companies that want to get DMCA claims to just go jump off a bridge.
Well, that company would immediately be destroyed in the courts. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Great as it would be, it wouldn't work.
No, they would certainly get destroyed in the courts. There's no question about it. because no judge is going to want to be responsible for the entirety of copyright law having to be overhauled from scratch. It's not even about whether or not it's fair or anything like that. It's about nobody's going to want to have that. Nobody's going to want to be that guy who undermined copyright so decisively that they had to start over, which is where we're at this point. We're at that tipping point. Somebody's going to have to nut up and do a bunch of rulings that are going to cause the whole basis of things to be appropriately reconsidered for the digital age.
It'll happen pretty soon, actually. Sooner or later, there's going to be a event or a decision which just causes the whole thing to collapse.
Yeah, it's going to be something that's flagrantly and obviously stupid to the point where nothing can stand anymore. It's got to be overhauled.
Yep.
That nobody's going to want to be that guy. That's the thing.
Yeah, because whoever that is going to go down as some sort of legal pariah.
Well,
Because you got to consider how much money gets made off of copyright lawsuits.
So if you cause that tower to topple, that's your career done.
well, as a judge, it won't topple your career unless people vote you out.
It will.
Well, it's not just going to be, a judge does it, though, because there's going to be a massive, massive chain of appeals that will follow on from that. So it's going to be somebody at the top who's, ensconced in a particular position who is usually playing for political power. And so they need friends. That's the problem. Is that there are the judges at the top, most of them want to make friends with lobbyists.
And more to the point, want to make money from lobbyists.
Well, yeah, it's usually to support their bid to be re-elected as a judge or whatever at that level.
This is friendship, isn't it? Giving each other big wads of cash.
I think that's how it works in politics.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Anywho, that's that rabbit hole. I do just want to scoff very quickly at YouTube for cancelling YouTube Rewind.
Yeah, I think that even they did not think that they could put a spin on 2020 that was going to do them any good.
I mean, I did actually see one take which was kind of interesting, and that is they totally should have anyway, because everyone derives so much joy from tearing it apart.
Yeah, but it doesn't do them any good. That's the problem.
No.
I think that as much as anything, it's about how badly they got destroyed last time.
Yep.
That's what they're really concerned about, is that it made them look idiotic.
Yes.
They used to be okay with their rewinds and at least generate positive press. They were still cringy as all get out.
Well, yeah,
but back when they kept it to small, YouTube-based people in the rewind, like when you had slow-mo guys or all the big YouTube channels for that year that made appearances on the rewind, and it wasn't just the standard corporate stock and rank and file that we see in everything these days.
Yeah, not Will Smith.
Yeah, at the point when Will Smith comes and go, oh yes, rewind time.
You have never been on YouTube in your life, Will Smith.
Yeah,
that is where the cringe hit maximum level, and you couldn't treat it as a cute little thing YouTube's doing anymore.
Because they were by phrasing it like that, it makes it sound like everybody is excited and waiting for it, which is just highlighting that they don't know anything about the people they're providing the service to.
It's like a pack of wolves all just waiting for fresh meat to be dropped down. So, yeah, just figured we should quickly mock that, because YouTube has just lost complete touch with their customer base.
Yeah. Bannon Alex Jones, again, now just for appearing on other people's shows.
Yes.
Even when the person's show that he appeared on was being incredibly disrespectful the entire time because it's the Beanie Man.
Well, he's still trying to retain his enlightened centrist credentials, I guess.
Oh, he had gained some ground with the ilk of the Donald and stuff like that, because during the lead up to the election he was fairly based. But the second that the election result reports came out from the media, he immediately cucked out on it.
And so they have
I don't see
turned
why
on
you
him.
expect anything else from him. It's 100% his typical behavior.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody thought he'd do differently either. But he got Alex Jones on, and he was incredibly
Yeah,
rude.
I was
disrespectful.
surprised that he was willing to even do that much because Alex Jones is a magnet for controversy, although I don't even understand why, since Alex Jones doesn't do anything other than say pretty, standard conspiracy stuff.
Alex Jones is just the funny, crazy man.
But everybody loves watching him.
Yeah, it's incredibly entertaining to watch the funny, crazy man.
Yes. Everyone knows he's crazy. That's half
Except
the
like I've said, he's crazy. The way those Vampire the Masquerade vampires, the ones that are, what are they called? They've got different names for the different
I
clans of
can't
vampires.
honestly remember.
But
Didn't they change the names
there's
anyway?
one. I think they're like Malkavians or something. Maybe.
Yeah, the ones that where the TV set could talk back to you.
Yeah, in the Vampire the Masquerade game, yeah. But they are well known to be completely insane. But the way they're portrayed in the video game, they say a lot of stuff that sounds like madness, but only in retrospect, when you've completed the game, you can sort of see that there's a little bit of truth to a lot of things. That there's in a context-free way, they don't make any sense. It's just madness. But it turns out, oh well, actually, he knew the whole time because they're sort of a bit, temporally dislocated.
Yep. Know that feel, brah.
Are you going to become the new Alex Jones?
I might at this
Or
rate.
possibly the same Alex Jones.
I'm going absolutely bonkers. I may become the next crazy funny man.
Right.
Man, we don't have any freedom to lose over here, so I don't know why you're so mad.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in Auckland right now. Somebody
Yeah.
sneezed in an elevator over there.
Yeah, and the entire city has gone into lockdown hysteria all over again.
Yeah.
Like the streets were deserted, but I don't know how long that'll stick. I think that every time they do another COVID ooga booga, the people stay convinced for a decreasing amount of time.
Yeah.
So, like down here in Christchurch, we had a case from some like Russian sailor that had come into port and then went to the supermarket, and there was a community transmission, and people barely shrugged. Like nobody cared at all. Aucklanders, on the other hand, have the majority of our hysterical yuppies. So,
Yeah.
Auckland is a little bit. Maybe it's not Melbourne, but it's definitely Sydney.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sydney's probably a good comparison. It's very few things outside of the Americans is Melbourne.
I should check on Hachima and see how she's faring with your Australia lockdown.
I expect you open up her stream and just get constant screaming. Because Hachima.
I think that they're doing another Among Us stream soon.
Oh, good grief.
I kind of enjoy Gura's Among Us streams because she's just really kind of bad at it.
But she's so cute.
She has a lot of fun playing it, but she's clearly hopeless.
Yep.
I don't know if it's her character or not, like, because her character is like totally incompetent at anything involving stealth or puzzles.
I see.
But I think that's probably legit.
That's not good. All right.
Right. Other gaming news. What else have we got?
Really isn't much.
I think somebody mentioned. I think some gaming bigwig. I can't remember who. Mentioned having played part of Elden Ring, so it definitely still exists.
Oh.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's still.
Wolflu put the brakes on that pretty hard, from what I understand, because of international travel.
The brakes. They have George R. R. Martin. They don't need brakes.
Yeah, that guy is like a
They need
rock.
to install like 15 additional accelerator pedals if they want to get it out the door this century.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin's like an anchor you attach to your product. It's just never going to move forward. But
Yeah. Oh, that's
instead
okay.
of-
They'll get 90% through the game, and then there will be no ending.
Oh man. Well, it's okay. The Dark Souls series took 3 games to finish the story. So
There's a story in Dark Souls. I know the meme.
there is, but it's convoluted and you need to go watch Fati Vidia's stories to figure it out.
Or you could just enjoy beating up giant bosses.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I went and watched the Vati stuff later. Much later.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is no reasonable way you could piece what the heck is going on in those games together without having Vati Vidia's lore readings up beside you the entire time you're playing.
The only big plot thing is, I know if you do things in a certain order, I think it was in 2, you can make a dog cry. Don't make the dog cry.
What?
You got to fight it anyway, but the dog will cry.
Sif in 1. Sif is in 1.
Okay, it's in the first one, was it? Right.
Yeah. And you may always make the dog cry.
Don't make
No
the
matter
dog
what.
cry.
No matter what, he cries in 1.
Yeah. Let me see. We're digging this, scraping at the bottom of the barrel, really, for content this week.
I'm trying to cough stuff up, but I mean, there's a rumor, and it's just a rumor. I think it's just a rumor. I don't think it's been confirmed that Cyberpunk 2077 is up for another delay into next year.
I could believe it.
I mean, it's not so much just that it's delayed, but that every single one of their predictions of when they will not need to delay anymore has been wrong in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Which suggests that their project manager is an incompetent.
There's a hint at something seriously being wrong with that project.
Yeah, like it's. They keep saying it's nearly done, but they've also set themselves the impossible task of having a AAA latest technology game which works on the worst version of last generation console software, console hardware. Like this seems like setting yourself an impossible task to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know much about optimization or anything or hardware, but it sounds like that's an unreasonable expectation to set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And generally, if a game gets one or two big delays, that's acceptable. A bunch of small delays back to back that start stretching out over 6 months plus, generally that's a good indicator something's gone wrong.
Yeah, because what it says is that we don't actually know what will make this project be ready. We're just trying whatever. We're throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yep.
That's the signal of we don't actually have a plan. We're just hoping we can figure something out.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's that. The Apple and Epic thing is still going.
Yeah, I can't tell who's winning.
I have no idea.
Because it's like half the news stories I see are this is ruled against Epic, and the other half of this is ruled against Apple. And like last one I heard was a story saying that a judge had pinged Apple for trying to make it into a theft case when it was blatantly not a theft case.
Yep. So yeah, it's just mostly we can really just say about it is it still happens.
Yeah, I think that this is another case of people throwing things at the wall to see what sticks.
I do like this quote that has been thrown at Apple by one of the lawyers is, you can't say it's independently wrongful, you have to have actual facts. So it sounds like everyone's kind of playing dirty.
That's what it means that's what I mean when I say they were trying to stick theft to it, because there is whether or not a theft took place is a fact question.
Mm-hmm.
Like either a theft took place or a theft did not take place. There's no way for it to be kind of, sort of, not really theft.
Yeah,
so they need
can't
to have
kind of sort of thieve.
Yeah, there needs to be a fact of this infraction having occurred, rather than them just saying, "Oh, but it was really mean, therefore we want you to call it a theft."
Yep.
It sounds like some California lawyers are trying to persuade some California judges over their emotional arguments.
And milk out their clients for all the money they're worth, yes.
Well, when your client has a near infinite piggy bank, it's time for you to dip your hand in all the way up to the shoulder.
Yeah.
So...
You want to talk about theft? Look at the lawyers.
Oh my, yes.
Well, everybody knows what lawyers are like.
It's kind of the thing, yeah.
They're a bunch of drunken
crazy Catholics that live in like Minnesota or something.
No, Nick's not a Catholic. He was raised Catholic.
So, but yeah, and they have people from Texas with giant beards come on their show and get so drunk they have to cancel the stream because they're vomiting in the toilet.
What?
Oh, there was a stream recently where Nick kept saying that he would take another shot if he reached X number of likes.
Oh dear.
And, after you've done that a couple of times, you are no longer in a state to realize what a bad idea it would be to do it again.
Yeah, Nick finally had a stream where he broke because he drank too much.
Oh dear. You made a mistake there, Nick.
Yeah, that's the thing. After about 3 or 4 drinks in, you just feel invincible, like you can keep going forever. This is
You
not
can't
the
keep
case.
going forever, pro tip.
You cannot.
No, give it like 30 minutes to an hour after that point, and you're dead, or you're hanging over the toilet.
Yeah, you won't notice right away, but you will notice.
Worship the porcelain god.
Yep. Oh, his hangover must have been awful the next day.
Oh yeah, I'd say so.
Other news. Falcom.
Everything so far. Oh yes, Falcom. I remember seeing that.
Anyways,
It wasn't really big news, but
So this past year was the Trails series 20th anniversary, I think. Because Hajimari was for their 20th anniversary. It has 20th anniversary plastered all over it. And everybody's here in Hajimari. 80 plus characters.
good gravy.
I made a chart of all the characters from Cold Steel 4.
Yeah, that is
Double
not a small number.
Double that number.
What would you do
So-
with all those characters?
I have no idea. So the 40th anniversary of the company, however, is this coming year. And they plan on releasing multiple console games this year, including the next Trails game, which should be the first in the Calvert arc.
Okay.
So we're
it'll be
finally
how
going
many
to
years before it gets localized?
All of them.
since Nisa took over, it's been about a year and a half to a year between launches.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, the games have a crap load of text. So
Yeah, I'm also worried about how long it'll be before all that text gets paused.
Yeah. They got to BTFO'd in Cold Steel 3 and they had to do a patch edit when they tried it. It was during one of the mini hot spring scenes where the girls inevitably are grabbing their Team Coin banners.
I see.
So yes. But yeah, so we should get the next Trails game sometime next year.
Cool.
So
I
yep,
didn't pay
finally
attention again. Now I'm not know where I'm going to go.
finally going to Calvert, or not Japan / not China.
Yeah, definitely not either of those things. Much like in Genshin Impact. But what else have we got? No, I don't really want to talk about that. Don't want to talk about that. No. I mean, we could talk about the Pokemon thing, I guess. But it's just, Pokemon is like the greediest franchise on Earth.
Particularly when it's paired up with
Including-
Google.
Yeah, including Genshin Impact, it's still the greediest franchise on Earth.
Going to get
But,
that Pokebucks.
Yeah. So this is basically just I don't know how old this is or anything, but I heard about it and I looked into it and it's pretty appalling. In that, so this is about the Pokemon Go, Pokemon Home thing. So I'm not sure what the purpose of Pokemon Home is. I don't know what it does. I don't
Pokemon
know why.
Home replaces the old Pokemon Bank. So it's an online storage box for Pokemon you can use to transfer them between games.
Right. Okay. So they allow you to transfer Pokemon Go Pokemon into it, right? So this basically now means, because it's been made compatible with Sword and Shield, that you can get your Sword and Shield Pokemon in Pokemon Go and move them across. However, they have decided to monetize this out the wazoo. So first of all, you need to pay your sub for Pokemon Home, which is like $3 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you have to use an energy bar to transfer Pokemon from from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home. And depending on the level of power and quality of that Pokemon, it will cost more of the energy bar to transfer. The thing is, this is not your usual energy bar, because it takes a week to recharge, and you can consume pretty much all of it if you've got like a shiny legendary or something to transfer.
Mm-hmm.
But people have a lot of Pokemon, and people are going to want to get the rarest ones they can get their paws on in Pokemon Go to move over to, you know, the Pokemon games which actually have mechanics.
Yes.
So yeah, and so the way you get your energy back, since it's going to take a week to recharge your energy bar, is of course that you use coins. And you could consume, you know, 10,000, 1,000, 10,000 coins or whatever, just transferring one of these rare Pokemon. And those coins, you can technically get them for in-game activities, but I wouldn't consider that very efficient.
The rate you get them is not high.
No. Yeah, I've been done with Pikaman for a while. I don't think I'll be getting the next Pikaman game that comes out. Sword and Shield just ticked me off too much.
It really felt like a step backwards in a lot of ways.
And beginning is not cool.
I still like that word.
I would have
But
liked it if they kept that mechanic out of the player's hands. It would have been a lot better.
I don't want to make my Pokemon fat. I don't want to infatten my Pokemon.
Yeah.
Mega Evolution was cool. What was wrong with that?
That was,
It was
2 generations
Digimon?
ago. You can't have that.
But what was wrong with that? Everybody loved it.
It was
It's
great.
Digimon.
It is also very Digimon.
I mean, yeah, it ripped off Digimon something hardcore, but it was cool. And we got new Pikaman forms.
It was cool and it was balanced and it was fun.
And you could have just kept rolling with new Mega Pikamans. As long as you didn't pull another Kangaskhan, we would have been fine.
Yeah, Kangaskhan was kind of broken.
But I think that we're in a situation where, based on the current vector, next generation Pokemon will be acquired through gacha.
Yay! And they'll try and sell it as the new big feature.
Remember when we could just walk around the Pikaman world and catch Pikaman and then plug in a link cable and trade with our buddies?
Them's was the days.
Yes and no, because nobody I knew had a link cable.
I was
we
the guy.
had a couple people in class that had them.
Oh yeah, I was the guy in class with the link cable. I was everybody's best friend.
We had a guy who visited our school at one point with a link cable, and he was a celebrity for the day. So, yeah.
I remember some kid's batteries on his original Game Boy ran out while we were trying to do a link cable transfer, and it screwed up his game.
Oh no!
Ouch.
That was funny.
Yeah, that could go either one of two ways. It was either going to jank up your save file or clone the Pokemon. And you never knew which one it was.
Yeah, it screwed up his save file pretty bad.
Yeah.
Press F to pay respects.
Maximum oof.
Them AA batteries didn't last very long.
They
They
really
lasted
didn't.
like 4 hours tops, and that's if you kept the brightness low on the adapter you plugged in, so you had a light. So you
Unless
could
you're trying
actually
to
see
use
the-
rechargeable ones, because they never quite recharged.
Yeah, and they only lasted about half the time.
Yeah, and they would lose their chargeability pretty quick.
If you're a kid, you're definitely not going to be able to afford to keep buying fresh AA's.
Yes.
The amount of times I would steal AA batteries from the office for my Game Boy got to really absurd numbers. I remember my granddaddy asking, "Where did all AA batteries keep going?" And I was just like,
Yeah, no.
So how many people these days? How many kids do you reckon don't know what a Game Boy is?
Oh.
Many.
How many of them would be confused if you handed them a Game Boy and said, "Okay, now turn it on," and they had to find AA batteries?
Do you eat it? Yeah.
Are there a lot of things that you even put batteries in these days?
Not that many. Most things are rechargeable.
TV remotes, the heat
Yeah.
pump.
No, the vape uses rechargeable batteries.
I have anything in my room that runs on batteries. The remote for my sound system, the remote for my stereo.
That seems to be pretty much it, is remotes.
Yeah, I think it's just remotes pretty much.
Remotes and toys. Like little kids' toys.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of rechargeable batteries lying around. I think that they were not mine. I just ended up getting them when I was moving out of my last flat, and I think that they were for an Xbox controller actually.
Okay.
I think that you could actually run those on AA's.
Yeah, you could, from memory.
Oh yeah, the original Wavebird I think used AA's
Oh, hang on a
or
minute.
something.
Yeah, let me just check this, because... Yep, that uses AA's. That is a Switch GameCube controller. For some reason, does not have an inbuilt battery.
Huh.
Because Nintendo logic, I guess.
Well, Nintendo is the company that released a controller for people with 3 hands.
This is true. So yeah, I was actually commenting the other day, like we're going through some drawers and found C-cell batteries. I can't remember the last time I used a C-cell battery.
I can't remember the last time I used a D battery.
I've used
Torches.
D batteries in flashlights, torches.
Flashlights use them.
That's it.
Yeah, but the C's are too small for flashlights. I think I had a toy that used C's when I was a little kid,
Yep.
and I think we had a radio that could run on C's.
Yeah, I used
I
to
was
have a radio. That was
very young.
when I was a kid, yeah.
But other than that,
That's about it.
are there even B-cell batteries?
I mean, yeah, but no.
They went the way of the C-cell.
Yeah. You can still buy C-cells.
Yeah, but what for? What would you put them in?
Exactly. Okay, what the hell is that? I couldn't be bothered walking all the way over there. Firebolt.
My mini disc player ran on a battery that looked like a stick of gum.
Yeah.
Sony was using those in all their devices in that era, around the year 2000 or so.
Yep. There was a period where you'd have so-called proprietary batteries, which were just two AA's duct taped together.
No, I remember those.
Yeah,
yeah.
Unfortunately, we had a device in the lab that ran on those.
Yeah.
Eventually, when the rechargeable proprietary batteries stopped working, we just gave up on the sodding thing.
Yeah, which reminds me, I probably should try and fix my tablet again. Might look into getting a new battery for it. You're not supposed to be able to fix these on your own, but you can.
Right. Is there any other news floating around? Because I'm having real trouble finding anything.
We're kind of padding as it is, so we should maybe just wrap it up.
What else I can possibly do? Unless you want to talk about Babylonians.
No.
No. None of us play Civ anyway, so...
I'll play the occasional bit of Civ, but not enough to actually talk about it.
Oh wow, I have an explosion of Saint Quartz in my box.
Yep.
And a 4-star Mystic Cody XP thingamabob.
I haven't logged into FGO in so long that I kind of dread what I'll find in there. Is that, oh, you came back. There is a dead waifu in your box. You should have been back sooner.
That's disturbing.
Yes. And with that, let us start wrapping up.
All right. Hopefully Ari will still be alive as of next week, although that seems like it might depend on the actions of the courts.
Oh, the second they go full tard with this. Later, folks. Have fun with these two. That'll be all that she wrote for Ari.
Oh, I guess we'll have to play Fern games from then on, which are always strange.
Yes, I will have to find the weirdest games in my library to stick them up on the stream. Oh, this may actually have been a terrible, terrible mistake.
Pulling for a rush.
I'm sure it'll take you like 3.5 chords. But yeah, so I guess that's it for the show this week. If you have any complaints or comments or corrections or questions, feel free to send them into our email box at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. And as far as a topic goes. Just tell us what you did this week. I'm so bored this week.
There is absolutely nothing.
Please take my mind off my impending death.
Yeah, talk about anything other than politics.
Please.
I'm about to lose my mind.
Do we
Please.
have an email address for the politics show?
You should probably set that up.
We have mostlypeacefulpodcast@gmail.com, I think.
Ooh.
Right. Okay. So if you actually do want to send us email about politics, you can send it there, and we'll talk about it on the next iteration of our politics show. Unless something really dramatic happens tonight, we probably won't be recording a show tomorrow, simply because everything at the moment is waiting on the courts. So
Yeah.
there's not really much to talk about,
Everybody
other than
limbo.
Jeffrey Toobin losing his job, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing the Tubin needs to be part of American lexicons from moving forward.
Apparently he was a way bigger scumbag than that, and it was just because that one came out they stopped protecting him.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, but apparently he had an affair and got a woman pregnant while he was married, and then tried to force her to have an abortion, and etc. etc.
That explains a bit, actually.
He's a real rocker, apparently, and it's just because he got caught jerking off on a Zoom meeting that he's been exposed.
That actually explains a bit, because the local ABC has been going full craze about a senator or something like that, I forget who it was, actually having a relationship with a woman who was not his current ex-wife.
Not his current ex-wife.
Yes. Like, they're already divorced, and he's having a relationship with a new woman, but apparently that's a big no-no.
I got Deuce Lily.
Yay.
You're going to jail.
Yay.
I like Minnie Deuces. She's adorable.
I think she's adorable, but you're still going to jail.
Yeah, you still go to jail.
Probably. I also got Tosaka Booty.
What is it with that game and butts? Particularly Tosaka's butt.
There's a meme about that, and you really don't want to know.
Right. I think I'll leave it alone then.
Alrighty, folks. I got nothing. I'm just in a perpetual state of anger and depression that is very unhealthy.
One day the addiction will be over, so stop worrying about it.
No.
Until then, the election is going to continue to be going.
No, screw that noise. Nobody else is doing anything, so I'm the one that's got to get
You're not doing anything either. That's the problem. You're just digesting yourself internally.
I'm going to turn into a blob monster by the end of this.
Wow.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Sayonara. Bye-bye.